Good morning, class. Today's lesson will be over 5-9, and it will be understanding an algorithm for fraction multiplication. Our objective for today is I can use an algorithm to multiply fractions. Over the past couple of days, we've been working on why multiplying fractions works. We've used paper to figure out how to find a piece of a piece or a part of a part, and we've used an area model, and we're going to review the area model today, but we're going to look for a pattern, which will be the algorithm, to find a more efficient, that means quick and accurate way to multiply fractions. To start off, we're going to review this problem from your journal, page 177. I want you to pay attention to the steps we're going to do because the steps are not listed out for every problem in the rest of the presentation. So the first step says to label the blank tick marks on the horizontal number line. I would like to point out that we are like filling out the blank number line. So if you look at the bottom number line, we can see that it's split up into 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. This will be 1/4, 2/4, and 3/4. This should look pretty familiar. Okay, and then we need to mark the vertical number line. It's into 6 pieces. So this is 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, and 5/6. We did all of this yesterday. So we're going to shade a rectangle, and we're going to look at these numbers to help us figure out that is 3/4 of a unit long and 2/6 unit wide. Remember, this is 1 unit and 1 unit, so we're doing the parts here. So our rectangle is going to be 3/4 wide and 2/6. Then we're going to shade in that rectangle. Okay, the area of the shaded rectangle, remember, we're going to use the total number of squares in the whole shape, okay, which will be 24 as our denominator, and the number of individual squares you have shaded in for the numerator, which is 6. Remember what I helped you use yesterday to figure that out was to zoom out and look at it as one big fraction. So now we're going to look at the number sentence here, and we're going to fill in the blank to make it your number sentence. 3/4 times 2/6 equals, like we said, 6/24. Now here we don't have the tick marks. We're going to have to make our own. So we can see that our problem is 3/4 times 2/3. I can make this into 3/4. They don't have to be perfect, so this is 1/4. 2/4, 3/4. By 2/3, I'm going to do 2/3. I'm going to go ahead and make my fourths all the way up. They're not perfect, but they work. 1/3, 2/3. Okay, and we're looking for a box that is 3/4 wide, 2/3 tall. I'm going to shade all that in. So when we write our number sentence, we have to write the whole thing. We have 3/4, I'm still on a highlighter, that's crazy, times 2/3 equals, now let's zoom out and see that there are a total of, I'm going to kind of put my answer down here, 12 total squares in the whole thing. Okay, and there are 6 of those shaded in. We're going to do the same thing on this one. We have thirds, so I'm going to divide this into thirds first. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's like folding. It doesn't have to be perfect. 1/3, 2/3, And then the fifths, that's a little trickier. Just make sure there's 5 pieces, it's okay. This last one's going to be skinnier than the rest. 1/5, 2, 5 fifths, 3/5, and 4/5. Okay, then we're going to shade in 1/3, okay, up to 3/5. 1, 2, 3, and shade in everything there. Okay, and when we write this out, we're going to use the 1/3 times 3/5 equals, now remember, we're going to zoom out and see that we have a total of 15 pieces and 3 of them are shaded in. Now let's go through a few questions here. We want to do an area model of 5/6 times 2/5. The first question says, if we're going to draw an area model, into how many parts would you divide the square, and how do you know? We're going to use the denominators up here of 6, so how am I highlighted thing, of 6 and 5, okay, to help us figure out, that's how we're going to split up. We're going to do 6 in the first one, so I like to divide in half and then into thirds. 3, 4, that gives me 5 and 6 here. 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6. Okay, and then into 2/5, so we're going to go across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Man, I was pretty good on that one. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. Okay. And we're going to shade it in and see how many parts would you shade in. Well, we go all the way over to the 5. I like to kind of make my own square here. And then I need to go up, that's up to 5/6. I need to go up to 2/5. And I'm just going to complete my rectangle and shade in everything in between. Okay. Then to figure out what was 5/6 times 2/5, 5, 6 times 2/5 equals, zoom out, you can see we have 30 total squares, and we can see that 10 of them are shaded in. Let's try another one for practice. We have 4/5 and 2/3, so we're going to look at the denominators. Okay, I need to divide the first denominator is 5, so let's divide it into 5 parts. It doesn't have to be perfect. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. Mrs. Beast, do I have to label everyone? You better do it just to be careful. Okay, and then with the thirds, it's okay if they're not perfect thirds. 1/3, 2/3, and then we're going to go out. So the 4/5, we're going to start at 0, go all the way to the 4. Then we're going to go up 2/3, start here, go up, and finish out our rectangle and shade everything in. Hope you're noticing that I'm changing the color to keep everything just festive. And then we're going to write out our number sentence. We have 4/5 times 2/3 equals, we're going to zoom out and see that I have 15 pieces total and that 8 of them are filled in. Alright, last one here. We have 2/4 times 1/5, so we're going to use the denominators to help us figure this out. Fourths, okay, I know fourths are 1, 2, 3, 4. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Then I have fifths, so I'm just going to cross 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd like to point out, again, my boxes are not perfect, but they will work. So I have up here 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. Okay, and then I'm going to take my little highlighter and I'm going to go over, start with 2/4, start at 0, and then go over to 2/4. Then I'm going to go up to my next number, which is 1/5, and finish out my rectangle and shade it in. I'm going to be talking about my whole number here, or my whole number model. So I have 2/4 times 1/5 equals, now let's zoom out and I can see that I have 20 pieces total and 2 of them are filled in.